My name is Isabella Reed. I'm 30 years old. And 3 weeks before my wedding, one text message destroyed the future. I thought I was sitting at my desk at work when my phone buzzed. The screen lit up with a message from my boyfriend, Ethan Parker. Arshaba. The wedding was 21 days away. Every deposit had been paid. 150 guests had confirmed. The dress was hanging in my closet. The invitations had been mailed. The future seemed settled. Then I opened the text. Hey babe. Need to tell you something. Remember how we said we could each bring a +1 for friends who didn't get invitations? Vanessa reached out. She's having a rough time. Lost her job. Her mom's sick. I want her to come with me as my +1. Just as a friend. She needs support. Vanessa, his ex-girlfriend, the woman he always described as ancient history, the woman he claimed was basically family now. I stared at the screen. Read it twice. Then a third time. My chest felt strangely hollow. After nearly a minute, I typed 2 words. New problem. The response came instantly. My phone started ringing. Ethan. I watched it vibrate across my desk. I didn't answer. A second later, another message appeared. Really, you're okay with it? I smiled. Not because I was okay, because something inside me had suddenly become very clear. Yep. I replied. Your wedding. Your choice. A few seconds later, he wrote back. Our wedding? Baba. Thank you for being so understanding. This is why I love you. I stared at that sentence. This is why I love you. Because I didn't argue. Because I didn't make things difficult. Because I stayed convenient. My fingers moved before I could overthink it. I opened our wedding planning group chat. 58 members. Family. Friends. Wedding party. Everyone. I typed one message. Quick update everyone. The wedding is cancelled. We'll explain later. Anyone who purchased travel arrangements, I'll personally reimburse you. Sorry for the inconvenience. Then I turned off my phone and went back to work. 5 hours later, I turned it on. That was a mistake. 300 missed calls. Dozens of voice messages. Endless text chains. The group chat looked like a war zone. Some messages jumped out immediately. Ethan, what the hell is wrong with you? Answer your phone. Isabella. Stop this. His mother. Patricia, sweetheart. Is this a joke? Call me immediately. His father. Robert. Whatever happened? Let's discuss it. My best friend. Maya. Girl. What happened? But one message caught my attention. A private message. From Caleb Parker. Ethan's cousin. Age 26. The family black sheep. Artist. Tattoo enthusiast. Professional truth teller. His message was short. Finally. I frowned. Then another appeared. Good for you. My heartbeat quickened. What do you mean? I typed. His reply arrived almost immediately. He's been talking to Vanessa for months. The room suddenly felt smaller. I read the message again. Months. Not weeks. Months. I tried warning you. Caleb continued. Didn't know how. I swallowed hard. Can we talk? Coffee tomorrow. Absolutely. A few seconds later, another message appeared. And Isabella. Check his tablet. The messages sync. I left work early. The drive home felt unreal. Like I was watching somebody else's life. Ethan wasn't there. His car was gone. The apartment was silent. His tablet sat exactly where he always left it. On the coffee table. I knew the password. His birthday. Because apparently neither of us believed in complexity, my hands shook as I unlocked it. Then I opened the messages. The conversation with Vanessa stretched back 8 months. 8 months. At first glance, nothing looked explicit. No obvious affair. No photos. No declarations of love. But emotional intimacy dripped from every exchange. I miss talking to you. Nobody understands me like you. Remember that trip we took? I still think about us. Each message felt like another crack, spreading through glass. Then I found the conversation that shattered everything. Vanessa. I can't believe she agreed to let me come. Ethan. I know. She's way too trusting. Vanessa. Are you sure you want to marry her? Ethan. The wedding's already paid for. My stomach dropped. I kept reading. My parents would lose their minds if I canceled. Plus she's stable. Good career. Responsible. After a year or two, we'll figure things out. I froze. A year or two. Figure things out. As if my life was a temporary waiting room. As if our marriage was just a bridge leading back to Vanessa. Then came the message I would never forget. Vanessa. She really believes everything you tell her. Ethan, honestly, it's kind of pathetic. Pathetic. I sat there staring at the screen, unable to breathe, unable to move, unable to understand how the man I loved could write that about me. Tears blurred my vision, but I didn't cry. Not yet. Instead, I started taking screenshots. Every conversation, every confession, every lie. I emailed everything to myself, backed it up, saved copies everywhere. Something told me I would need proof. Because people like Ethan never admit the truth voluntarily. When I finished, I packed a bag. Just one bag. Enough for a few days. Then I walked out of the apartment without leaving a note, without leaving a message, without leaving anything behind, except silence. That night I stayed with Maya. After reading the screenshots, she stared at me for a long moment. Then she whispered, "He's worse than I thought." I nodded. For the first time all day, I felt exhaustion crash over me. But before I could sleep, another message arrived from Caleb. "Coffee tomorrow. There's more you need to know." I stared at the screen. Something about those words unsettled me. Because if 8 months of betrayal wasn't the whole story, I wasn't sure I was ready to hear the rest. I met Caleb the next morning, at a small coffee shop, 3 blocks from Maya's apartment. He was already there when I walked in. Black hoodie, silver rings, a half-finished coffee in front of him. He looked up. And for once, his usual sarcastic smile wasn't there. "You okay?" he asked. I almost laughed. "No." He nodded like he respected the honesty. "Good. Better than pretending." I sat across from him. For a few seconds, neither of us spoke. Then Caleb pulled out his phone. I brought receipts. And he did. Screenshots. Old messages. Family chat fragments. Stories I had never heard. Ethan had done this before. Not exactly the same way, but close enough to make my skin go cold. In college, he'd been with another woman while keeping Vanessa nearby. When things became serious, he panicked, blamed his girlfriend for being jealous, and ran back to Vanessa. Only Vanessa had not wanted him permanently, so Ethan became the victim. Again. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" I asked. Caleb's jaw tightened. "Would you have believed us?" I looked down. He was right. I had been in love. Worse, I had been loyal. Caleb leaned forward. "He's already telling people you're unstable." My eyes lifted. "What?" "He started weeks ago. Said you were controlling, jealous, sensitive about Vanessa. He was preparing the room before you ever walked into it." That sentence stayed with me. Preparing the room. By noon, Patricia called. I answered because part of me still wanted one adult in that family to act like one. "Isabella." "Sweetheart," she said. Voice, soft, like syrup. Ethan explained everything. This Vanessa situation is just a misunderstanding. You're really going to throw away 3 years because of insecurity. I have the messages. Silence. Then her voice changed. "All couples have rough patches." He called me pathetic. Another pause. "The wedding is in 3 weeks. Do you understand how embarrassing this is for our family?" There it was. Not my heartbreak. Not his betrayal. Embarrassment. I said, "Your son embarrassed himself." Then I hung up. That evening, Caleb texted again. "Family meeting at Patricia's tonight. They're planning an intervention for you." I stared at the message, then replied, "Want to do something better?" His answer came fast. "There's a tattoo convention downtown." I should have said no. Instead, I typed, "Pick me up at 7. The convention was loud, bright, and completely removed from the suffocating world of wedding seating charts and fake smiles. Caleb introduced me to artists, told ridiculous stories, made me laugh when I thought my body had forgotten how. We ended up getting tiny matching paper airplane tattoos. Spontaneous, reckless, maybe stupid, but for the first time in days, I felt like I had chosen something for myself. Meanwhile, Ethan went nuclear. He showed up at my office. Security escorted him out. He told my coworkers I was having a breakdown. He posted old photos of us online, with captions about betrayal and jealousy. Then he made his critical mistake. He posted in the wedding group chat, for everyone asking, "Isabella's control issues have finally shown. She canceled our wedding because I wanted to support an old friend in need." I'm sorry you're all affected by her instability. I stared at the message. Then I uploaded the screenshots, all of them. 8 months. His message to Vanessa. The pathetic comment. The stability plan. The future. He was quietly saving for someone else. For 3 full minutes. Nobody wrote anything. Then my mother replied, "Oh, honey. Maya wrote. That's disgusting." Even Ethan's best friend replied, "Bro, tell me this isn't real." Then Caleb entered the chat. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Who could have seen this coming? Oh wait. Everyone who remembers college. Ethan left the group chat. Patricia messaged me privately. "You humiliated this family." I replied, "No. I documented what your son did." Caleb texted me 10 minutes later. "Want to get out of town?" I should have said no. Again. Instead, I packed a bag. We drove to the mountains before sunrise. Just friends? That was what we kept saying. Just friends. But the farther we got from the city, the easier it became to breathe. We rented a small cabin near a lake. Nothing fancy. Wooden porch. Bad plumbing. A view that made silence feel holy. For 2 days, we talked. About everything. My fear of wasting years trying to be easy to love. His loneliness inside a family that treated honesty like a disease. The wedding. The humiliation. The strange grief of missing someone who had never really existed. On the second evening, we sat by the lake while the sun burned orange behind the trees. Caleb looked at me and said, "I had feelings for you for a long time." My heart stopped. He looked away quickly. "I never said anything. You were with Ethan. I wasn't going to be that guy." Caleb. "I know. It's complicated." "It is. But watching him treat you like some backup plan for 3 years, that was worse." The wind moved across the water. I remembered all the times Caleb had quietly defended me at family dinners. All the times he had changed the subject when Ethan made little jokes at my expense. All the times I had mistaken loyalty for attitude. "You deserved better," from day one. He said. Something in me broke open. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just enough for the truth to get in. I kissed him. For a second he froze. Then he kissed me back. When we pulled away, he whispered, "This is insane." "Probably. My family will lose their minds. They already have." He laughed softly. Then, with that reckless spark in his eyes, he said, "Want to make it worse?" I narrowed my eyes. "What does that mean?" "There's a courthouse 20 minutes from here." I stared at him. "You're not serious." "I'm half serious." "That's a terrible percentage." He smiled. "Look. We've known each other 3 years. You're single. I'm single. We actually like each other. And yes, this is chaos. But maybe chaos is honest. That is not a wedding vow. No, this is..." His voice softened. "I've watched you show up for people who didn't deserve you. I've watched you carry rooms that should have protected you. You're kind. Funny. Loyal. And way stronger than Ethan ever understood." My throat tightened. "Caleb. I'm not asking you to prove anything. I'm asking you one question. Right now? In this moment. Does this feel more real than anything you had with him?" I looked at the lake. The fading sun. The man beside me, who had told me the truth when everyone else preferred comfort. And the terrifying answer was yes. It did. The next morning. Neither of us brought up the courthouse immediately. Maybe because saying it out loud would make it real. Maybe because we were both afraid of how much we wanted it. We had breakfast at a tiny diner near the lake. Coffee. Pancakes. The kind of ordinary morning that somehow felt extraordinary every time I looked at Caleb. I caught him looking at me first. Eventually, he put down his coffee cup. "So." I laughed nervously. "So. The courthouse is still there. Last time I checked. Courthouses don't usually move." He grinned. "Good. Just making sure. I should have said we were moving too fast. I should have said I needed time. I should have said 100 responsible things. Instead, I heard myself ask, "What time do they open?" 2 hours later, we were standing in front of a mountain courthouse. Neither of us dressed for a wedding. Caleb wore jeans and a dark t-shirt. I wore a hoodie and sneakers. No flowers. No photographer. No months of planning. No fake smiles. Just 2 people making a decision. The clerk looked at us and smiled. You two seem very happy. I looked at Caleb. For the first time in months. Maybe years. I realized I actually was. The ceremony lasted less than 10 minutes. Then it was done. I was married, not to Ethan, to Caleb, the last person I would have expected. And somehow, the exact person I needed. Outside the courthouse. We took a selfie. Neither of us could stop laughing. The marriage certificate was visible between us. Caleb uploaded the photo, then posted it in the wedding group chat. His caption was simple. When you know. You know. The explosion happened instantly. My phone started vibrating before I could even put it away. Calls. Message. Voice notes. Dozens. Then hundreds. Patricia called first. Or rather, she called Caleb. I could hear her screaming through the phone from 3 feet away. You stole your cousin's fiancé. Caleb calmly replied. He wasn't engaged anymore. Aunt Patricia. This is disgusting. No. What Ethan did was disgusting. You betrayed your family? Caleb glanced at me, then smiled. She's my wife. Patricia disconnected so hard, the call practically detonated. A minute later, Ethan texted me. You married my cousin. I stared at the screen. Then another message arrived. Are you insane? Followed by, this is psychological warfare. I finally replied, no. Psychological warfare is emotionally cheating for 8 months while planning a wedding. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again, then nothing. For the first time since all of this started, Ethan had no response. Robert surprised me the most. He called later that evening. Congratulations. I blinked. Excuse me, I'm disappointed in Ethan. His voice sounded tired, older somehow, but Caleb is a good man. My eyes drifted toward Caleb, who was unsuccessfully trying to open a bag of chips. I know, I said softly. Robert chuckled. Take care of each other. Then he hung up. The fallout continued for weeks. Ethan's world started unraveling. First, Vanessa left. Apparently, she had learned he wasn't exactly honest with her either. He had told her that our relationship was practically over, that we were only staying together because of wedding deposits. When she discovered the truth, she disappeared from his life, completely. Then more problems surfaced at work. Rumors, complaints, questionable relationships with multiple coworkers. Nothing illegal, just enough to destroy his carefully managed image. The same man who had called me pathetic for trusting him suddenly couldn't find anyone willing to trust him. The irony wasn't lost on me. Patricia continued her campaign. She sent angry messages, long emails, even a typed letter explaining how Caleb and I had damaged the family reputation. One afternoon, she mailed us an itemized invoice for emotional damages. Caleb framed it and hung it in our apartment bathroom. I laughed every time I saw it. Months passed. Then something unexpected happened. Life became peaceful. Not perfect. Peaceful. Caleb helped me heal, without trying to fix me. There was a difference. He listened. He showed up. He told the truth, even when it was uncomfortable, when I had nightmares about the wedding. He stayed awake with me. When he doubted himself about opening his own tattoo studio, I helped him build a business plan. For the first time, partnership felt mutual. We moved into a new apartment. The walls slowly filled with his artwork, my books, our photographs, evidence of a life built together, rather than performed for an audience. His studio opened 6 months later. The opening day was packed. Friends, clients, family members who had finally chosen reality over drama. Even Robert showed up. Patricia did not. Nobody was surprised. The old wedding venue still had part of our deposit. Rather than fight over it, Caleb suggested something unexpected. Let's do something good with it. So we organized a charity event for a local youth arts program. The turnout exceeded every expectation. We raised thousands. The program publicly thanked us online. Ethan immediately posted a rant about how we were stealing attention. The charity organization politely thanked him for his concern, then publicly shared photos from the fundraiser. He deleted the post. A year after the canceled wedding, I barely recognized my own life. One evening, Caleb and I went back to the mountains, back to the courthouse, back to the lake, the place where everything changed. We got matching tattoos that day. Not names. We weren't idiots, just coordinate, a reminder of where we stopped choosing fear. The tattoo artist asked how we met. Caleb looked at me. I looked at him. Then we both started laughing. Long story, I said. Very long story. He agreed. That night, sitting beside the lake, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. I already knew who it was. Ethan, I hope you're happy. I stared at the words. A year earlier, they would have hurt. Now they felt distant. Like hearing a voice from another life. I typed one sentence. I am. Then I blocked the number. Across from me, Caleb was skipping stones across the water. He looked up, caught me smiling. What? I shook my head. Nothing. Liar. I laughed. Just thinking. Dangerous. Very. He walked over and sat beside me. His shoulder touched mine. Comfortable. Familiar. Real. After a moment, he said, Any regrets? I looked out at the lake. The same lake that had witnessed the collapse of one future and the beginning of another. Then, I looked at my husband. The man who had stood beside me when everything fell apart. The man who had never asked me to become smaller so he could feel bigger. The man who had chosen honesty when deception would have been easier. No, I said. Not one. He smiled. Good. Then he wrapped an arm around my shoulders. And for the first time, I understood something that had taken me years to learn. The worst day of your life can sometimes be the day that saves you. Not because revenge wins. Not because the people who hurt you lose. But because the truth finally forces you toward the life you were supposed to have all along.